Hello, everybody. Uh, Today I wanted to do a tier list about every single episode of Mushoku Tensei Season 2, like the part 2. This is a tier list based only on my enjoyment of the series. Like, this is a personal tier list at the end of the day. I had to create it since there wasn't a tier list for the episode. There was like other things like character and stuff. But I did one for the episode, and I choose every single like image is probably like the what the episode was about uh, of that image, based on that on the image alone. So yeah, again, this S, A, B, C, and D like tier list, like now keep in mind I'm only gonna put two episodes on S tier because I feel like if I put them all on S tier, it's just not a tier list at all. Also, all the episodes are based solely on the show itself. They're not based on like other shows and stuff. Like for example, like if I put an episode in D, is D based on the whole season? Like the worst episode of the whole season. That doesn't mean it's a bad episode. That just means that in the season it was the least, how you call it, the least better one, the least good one. That's how I wanted to express it. Because I'm definitely gonna put things on D and Z or F. Like I don't know if I should like probably uh, put some other like. No, you know what? Like it's okay. It's okay the way it is at the end of the day. DCBA, like it's only 12 episode at the end of the day, so probably will not do it. Now, without further ado, let's start. First episode. Now, the first episode of Mushoku Tensei Part 2, remember, Season 2. I'll do some about Season 1 at the end of the day, but I just wanted to talk about Season 2, which is much more fresh than ever. Season 1, I mean, Episode 1. Season 1 episode. Like, it's a big thing because also this is gonna have spoilers at the end of the day. I'm talking about the second season, not even the first season. So it's like it's gonna have a little bit of spoiler, only for anime only for animes only at the end of the day. Okay, we cool, like we cool. So when Rudius get his spoiler, when Rudius get his demon eye, like the eye of time, I don't remember how it's called, but you can see like 2 seconds at most in the front. Honestly speaking, it was good seeing like Mushoku Tensei be back at it, but honestly, nothing really special happened in this episode. The only thing that happens is that he gets the eyes, and probably nothing else. They just keep going at it like normally. Really, nothing happens in this episode, to be honest. So I'm probably gonna put it as C. Remember, this is based solely in the show itself. It's not a bad episode. It's just that for Mushoku Tensei's standard of the second season, which was really freaking good, I guess it's just a C, bro. At the end of the day, it isn't a D because it's a really like big turning point because of the fact that he gets the demon eyes, and it's good for the story and stuff. Why that this thing got like again messed up? Okay. Anyways, I know the episode based on the image. Now it's episode 2. Like if you remember episode 2, what happens in episode 2 is half of the episode is about Roxy and his team, like searching for Rudius and his family, and the other half is about like Rudius meeting with the bandit, no, meeting with the guys who were like controlling the beast people, which is like it's a good episode at the end of the day. I mean, is it really though? The first half is really just Roxy. Like, it's the first episode, but from Roxy's perspective. The whole half episode is actually just that. And the second half of the episode is Rudius actually just meeting with actually having the thought of killing other people, which is like the first time we actually like see him. Because keep in mind, until this point, I'm pretty sure that Rudius hasn't killed anyone, and this is like the first time he actually think, oh, maybe I should kill them all. And like Ruiger is like, leave it to me at the end of the day. I think it's a C too at the end of the day, because now that I think about it, I might even be inclined to put it on D, because nothing really happens in this episode. Like, keep in mind those episodes are short, but they're episodes to like build up for what is gonna happen afterwards, you know. So it's like they can't be like bangers from the start, you know. At the end of the day, so yeah, two episodes who had like one or two big moments. And keep in mind, Mushoku Tensei always has like big moments at the end of the day. Like in every single episode, there is like one big moment and stuff. But I'm just talking about the episode as a whole. I just think that episode 1 and 2 should probably be on C at the end of the day, because nothing really happens. Definitely episode 2 is lower than episode 1, because episode 1 he gets the demon eye, like a big thing happened, like we didn't expect that. And in episode 2, actually you meet the sacred beast, but at the end of the day, if you watch the whole season, you know the secret beast doesn't do anything. The secret beast actually like doesn't do anything throughout the whole series. Like, it's literally just there. So it's like, yeah, it's not that good of an episode, to be honest. Now we go into episode 3. Now, episode 3 is different. If you cannot see it, this is the guy who is like, who is a saint in the Norgod style. Like, spoiler again, I'm talking about like the episode and stuff. In the third episode, again, it's always like half and half. Like the first half of the third episode is Rudius like chilling in his trap after he got trapped in episode 2, chilling in his cell and everything. And the second half of the episode is like them repelling like the bandits that came out to like take out the beast people, like to sell them as slaves and stuff. This episode is better than the other ones, because we actually finally see a fighting at the end of the day. In all the other episodes was like probably like only Ruiger and Eris actually sparring and stuff. And I think in the first episode there is like Rudius sparring with Eris when he uses his eye, but nothing too out of the ordinary. This is the first time we actually see like, oh, there is trouble, you know, like this guy is actually really strong, and it's like the first time we actually see him like fighting serious as Rudius, you know, like serious at the end of the day. It is a really good episode. It is one of the best ones compared to the other one. Look, I'm gonna leave it at B for the moment, but I might up it up to like an A. But I don't know. I don't think it is like worthy of an A. The fight is like really well animated and stuff, but the thing is that there's no major thing for the story happening in this episode. That's the only thing that's keeping me from putting it on an A. Like, yeah, they Rudius fight, and it's like the first like serious fight and stuff. Probably this was the first episode I was like hype when I saw it, you know. So yeah, I'm probably putting it on a B, because of there is no major like big thing happening at the end of the day. So it's probably a B. Now episode 4 might be a D. Honestly, that might be one of the worst episodes of Mushoku Tensei second season. Now, keep in mind, this is in Mushoku Tensei, like in the episodes themselves, like based on the whole season. If you don't know, episode 4 is basically like Eris meeting the beast people and bonding with them and stuff. And we noticed that we actually like know about like Grishlane past in this episode, which is like only the only major thing that happened in this episode. Actually, this is a chill episode. Probably for me, it was the least enjoyment I got out of this episode. To be honest, it was cool, like knowing about Grish Lane, and stuff. But other than that, I feel like it was a really lacking episode. Nothing major happens. Rudius barely even appears in the episode, like just a tiny bit here and there. There's just bonding. The only thing that happens, now that I remember, I'm pretty sure at the end of the episode is when we know what is happening in the in their houses, in like Eddie's house. That is only the major thing that happens, but it's at the end of the episode, and I feel like after what happened, I mean, what throughout the whole episode, I feel like that doesn't save it at the end of the day. But what does save it is episode 5, though. Now, episode 5, I'm pretty sure is an A, bro. I'm pretty sure it might be an S, bro. Episode 5 of Mushoku Tensei is actually like really, really freaking good, bro. If you don't know what happens in episode 5 is when Rudius meet with his father. Like the first half of the episode is like, I mean, the first like third of the episode is like they getting into like finally, I think, a human continent, or like in the border between like the human and the demon continent. Rudius finally meet with his father, at the end of the day, and we get to know how he's doing and so. They get in a serious fight. We finally see Rudius' sister like grow up, like as a grown up girl. It's like, oh my god! And what happens when they meet and stuff? It's just, it might be an S, but I'm leaving it in A because at the end there are some seriously good episodes, to be honest. But I don't know what I can say about episode A. Just banger after banger. Like the we like the thing about Mushoku Tensei that is really good is like when Rudius meet with with people that he met before when he was younger. You see like the tension. You see like what has changed and everything in this second season. Like you see the consequences of like what has happened. Which is why I really like Mushoku Tensei, and I feel like episode 5 really portrays that. And that is why I love this series at the end of the day. Now, episode 6 is... Oh, wait. It's kind of like episode 4, to be honest. It might be... I think it is better than episode 4. But there is only... Actually, no. I think it's a C. It's probably higher than C. The higher C. Because... The only like major thing that happens is like it's like the what happens after like episode 5. It's literally like the continuation, like the story is a continuation of the episode 5. That's why it's episode 6. But what happens in episode 5 gets resolved in episode 6. That's why I kind of like wanted to say it. Honestly speaking, it's kind of like a okay-ish episode. The scene with Rudius and his father is really touching. What happens in that episode? But even so, throughout the whole the also one thing that we actually notice is that what his father did. Okay, now that I know that, might be a B, a low B, because we know what his father went through after the turning point one happened, and it's honestly pretty freaking good. Like, oh my god, like everything that he needed to like do in order to protect his own daughter and stuff, and being in like the the unknown that maybe see his family something happened with do them and stuff. It's like, bro, that is the start of the episode. That actually is pretty good. It's throughout like when it's like the opening song is happening and stuff. Uh, but it's like it's really good at the end of the day. It's a solid episode. Yeah, I think it's a B. It's a low B. It's not better than the third episode. I feel like because there is not a really good fight or anything. But it's like a touching moment and like uh, we know what happened. We're starting to know the consequences of like what actually happened with Turning Point One in season one. Now, that was episode 6. Episode 7 is all about. I forgot about her name. Roxy. It's all about Roxy. I think it's higher than episode 4, but I seriously think that episode 7, again, is like. Since there is no Rudius, to be honest, and yeah, we know about Roxy. Oh, actually, no, it might be C. Because we know about like the past of Roxy, what happened through his like childhood for not being able to like understand the the demon language. No, the fact that that race of like of demon talk through like telekinesis. What? I don't know how it's called, but they talk without opening their mouth at the end of the day through their mind. We know that we actually know in that episode that Roxy actually couldn't use that ability, and because of that, she got like not bullied, but like cast out of the other children, which is like made a really big burden in her life and stuff, and like shaped the way she is now. Like that's why she's like so gloomy and stuff. Sometimes, most of the time, it's like you understand now why she is like that, and because of that, I might be able to put it in a C. I think it's higher than this one, in the middle of C. It's better than episode one. I don't think so. I think the episode one, the whole point of like Rudius getting his eye, I feel like boosts the episode one to like the highest of C, but not enough to be B. Now, episode 7. I mean, no, episode 8, right? Yeah. Episode 8. I'm pretty sure it's like this. Episode 8. This is when I actually started recording my reaction to the show. So it's like the the one I have like the most memory of. I remember episode 8. He meets his other sister, the other day. And to be honest, aside from meeting his sister, I think it's a really low episode too. Is it D worthy though? I feel like no. I feel like it's C too, but I have way too many things in C. The thing is that I don't really want to put things on B, to be honest, because I feel like B is like the middle ground. Like maybe the episode 1 should be on B and C, but no. I mean like okay, let's talk about this one. Episode 8. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, episode 8. Aside from meeting his sister, nothing really major happened in this episode, like that I can remember. Like he saved his sister. He promised that he's gonna go like to. This is like a really big tangent out of the story. I feel like. Yeah, he meets with the other, with the guy who I think is the heir to the emperor or something along the line, the heir to the king, which is a fucking weirdo, to be honest. It's a really big weirdo. And he traps him and everything. It's like, but aside from that, nothing really happens at the end of the day. The thing is that I don't know if I should put this on C, because the episode 9 is definitely a C. Like, lower C. Oh my god, I'm inclined to put Roxy's episode in like B now. No, no, it's not. It's not really that good, to be honest. Now, episode 9. To be honest, what happened in this episode? We meet about the new guy, who is like that guy with glasses and stuff, if you remember. It wasn't too long ago. To be honest, might be a D actually. Like the thing about episode 8 and 9 is a big tangent out of the story, which we may see the fruit of them like in next season, but in this season specifically, I feel like they didn't like do anything to the story at the end of the day. It was like to rescue his sister though, but I feel like how the anime portrayed it, it's like they were never in danger at the end of the, like there was no danger at all, to be honest. So maybe I should put this one here in the lowest of C. Oh my god. Okay. Now. What can I say? Now. Episode 10 of second season. Turning Point 2. Whew. Whew. To be honest, like I said it, I'm only gonna put 2 episodes. I'm gonna, like, for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna put 1 episode in the S. And this is a solid contest for the episode, for S. Like, this episode is solid for S. Now, keep in mind, this episode is amazing, bro. Like, what can I say? This episode, Turning Point 2, like, is probably one of the best episodes of the season as a whole. Like, the whole season, like, not even this season, but also the first season of Mushoku Tensei. I feel like this episode is incredible. We finally see him, the guy who I saw many thumbnails in every single YouTube video. I didn't know what the heck he was doing. I know. And we finally see him, bro. Like, oh my god. It's such a good episode, bro. Like, from the start, like, the fight actually happens, like, in the middle of it. But the tension starts from, like, the moment he walks into scene. And you can feel all the tension, like that. Bro, this guy is like, oh my god, this guy is actually some problem. And you see him on the first season, but you're like, wait, this guy is strong, but you don't see him do anything in the first. The only thing you do see him is like a dragon. I think he gets scared of him, and you know why in this episode, why he gets scared of it, bro. Turning Point 2 is probably one of the best episodes of the entire series. It's really freaking good, bro. But for the sake of the video, I said I'm just gonna put 1 episode on S. And I think this is the S. And I think Turning Point is the second best episode. Why? Let me explain why. Turning Point is incredible. It's a really good episode in itself. But it's like you see the explosion of like what happened. But in episode 11 is when you see the consequences of that explosion. Episode 11 is my favorite episode of the whole series, bro. Like, the whole series, episode 11, I feel like Turning Point was an incredible episode, but I feel like episode 11 was what make episode Turning Point that much better, you know, like it like expanded upon that episode. But you couldn't know if when you watch episode 10. I didn't know the consequence will be that high after like meeting with the guy, you know, like you know the guy. Uh, and we see these consequences in episode 11. I feel like episode 11 is better because it builds upon Turning Point 2, and it's better because we know the consequences, and you see the consequences. Bro, I cried throughout that whole episode. You can see my reaction. I cried every single like 4 times in that episode, bro. In Turning Point I almost cried, but it was more so like I was like scared, hype, like something was happening, like I didn't know what was happening. But in episode 11, you know what happened, and you see the consequences of everything. You finally get to see the the houses that were in like what happened after Turning Point 1. You even see the consequences of Turning Point 1 and Turning Point 2, which is like I feel like there's no way that this episode is not the best episode of the whole series. Knowing what happened of out of everything, like this series builds upon consequences, bro. The consequences of your action, of what happens. Like this series doesn't hold any punches. And I feel like in episode 11 you see that. You actually see all of that. That's why I feel like episode 11, even though Turning Point is incredible, it's a freaking amazing episode, I do feel like episode 11 is the best one because we see everything after what happened in episode 10, Turning Point. Now, now that that is clear and you know my opinion about everything, let's talk about episode 12. Now, episode 12, when I was watching it, you can see my reaction. Honestly, I think it got drawn a tiny bit too much with the thing because what happened in episode 11 like actually destroys Rudius. Like generally actually destroys him like mentally, you know? And I feel like in episode 12 we see like him trying to like grieve what just has happened. We also see every other person that was in his party like kind of like see how they're doing and stuff, and it's like it's a very touching episode. Like it's really a like a remembrance episode of like what happened throughout the whole season, like from Turning Point 1 till like now. It's like a remembrance episode, like remembering everything that just happened throughout those whole like what 15 episodes counting the episode of the first season. We see a lot of things like coming out together, which is an actually an amazing 12 episode. So I feel like it might be an A or a low B or a high B. Is it better than? It's better than episode 3. It's not better than episode 5 though. I think like episode 5 is incredible though. But the thing, I will put it on a high B. But the thing is that the last scene of that episode of episode 12, like we see the whole episode and it's like Rudius in his past life, which kind of takes me out of like the immersion of like the next world. But this is important to like show how Rudius, even though he's on a new body, he's still the same freaking kind of like loser that was before he came in this world. And this is why I love this series, bro. That is not a power fantasy. It's more so like a drama of like someone trying to grow up out of like more so like a second chance of someone who just couldn't do anything in life. Like it was the consequences of like his action were too high in his past life that destroyed his whole life, and he's getting a second chance in this new world. And I feel like episode 12 like shows you how bad it was for Rudius in his past life and stuff. and that will make it a high B. But the last scene, bro, how Rudius actually, this episode is actually called Moving Forward, I'm pretty sure. And oh my god, the last scene with his mom and his family and the good times that happens before turning point 1, I feel like that bumps it up to an A. It might be tied up with like episode 5. I feel like this episode was heavily carried by the music and the visuals, you know? Like I feel like if I read this episode, I wouldn't get the same enjoyment. And this is why I'm kind of like scared of watching reading the light novels, of watching the manga, because this scene hits so much better in anime. That scene with his mother and his father, and like knowing that he he couldn't get up from anything, none of the girl, from Sylphie, from remembering Roxy, Eris left him on the ground. His father, he couldn't grow out of it. Nothing was making him like that. He had to keep going, except his mother, bro. That scene completely bumps it up to an A. When I was gonna do this whole season, I feel like this when I first watched that episode, I feel like I didn't thought it was like such a good episode at the end of the day. But now remembering and remembering every single episode, I feel like it's one of the most solid episodes of the season. Simply because it's a remembrance episode. First of all, remembers everything that happened from turning point 1 to like now. Like it's like they throughout the characters that accompanied Rudius throughout this adventure, you know. It's also a reminder of like Rudius being still the same guy who died in the past world and was like bullied and so he's still the same person. It's just that he has new powers and stuff, but his mind is still like with the scars of his past life. And also, it actually makes Rudius mature, I feel like, in this episode. Because every time that something bad happened, or he heard about something bad, he always remembered a girl. Like a woman that he kinda met. For example, when his father tells him about like what happened in the whole city, Rudius says like, "Is Sylphie okay?" And he's like, and his father is like, "Are you not thinking about your mother, bro? Like, seriously, are you that immature?" And in this episode, the person that makes him move forward is not even Sylphie, it's his mother, bro. That's how you see that. That's what I love about this series, is that the character itself grows so much. I don't think it's better than Turning Point 2. Like, I feel like the only better thing of Turning Point 2 is knowing about the consequence of Turning Point 2. But it's still an amazing episode. When I first watched it, and in my reaction, I don't show it too much. You know, I feel like I don't show how much of a good episode that last episode was. But now that the more I think about it, the more I know that yeah, it was an amazing episode, bro. It was an incredible episode. It had everything that you need to close up a season, remembering everything that happened, uh, building building upon the character itself, and making him like have a strive for like have an objective of for what to do, you know. And oh my god, I hope his mother is okay, bro. At the end of it. That's the only thing I can hope so. Now, that's it. I feel like that is a pretty good tier list. I mean, S tier, I'm not changing that. Episode 11 is single-handedly the best episode of whole Mushoku Tensei. Turning Point is the second best episode of Mushoku Tensei, like without a question. Episode 5, yeah, I feel like it holds at this. It's not the third of the whole like series, but I feel like in this season it is the third. Episode 12 is just so like it's such a good way of closing the whole season, bro. Episode 3. It was like the first episode that I generally like was like in my seat after the whole season started. Episode 6 is a good. It's like the same way with Turning Point, but in this way, I feel like there was not really much consequences after like episode 5. That's why it's lower than the explosion. Like the big thing of episode 5, because episode 5 is big. It's a really big episode. I feel like episode 6 didn't build up that much upon it. But it's still a solid episode because we know about what happened from like a person that we know. Because in the first season, Rudio's father was a really important character. He appears for almost half the season, and you see the consequences of what happened that affected him. That's what I love about this series, that every single detail the guy thinks about. Like, I love it. Episode 1 was a good episode. Like, it's probably. It might be the lowest of B, but I feel like I can't bump it up because aside from the demon eye happening, nothing really major happened in that episode. I feel like. Yeah, nothing really happens in that episode. I feel like. Except for the demon eye, which is a big thing actually. But I still think it's the highest of C. It's like a tiny bit below B, but I cannot put it on B, bro. I feel like C is the best one. Roxy's episode. This is episode 7. I feel like 7 or 8. I don't remember. Roxy's episode. Honestly, I thought it was one of the worst one when I first watched it. But now remembering, it's like I feel like it goes up than D simply because of the fact that we see like the Roxy past and why she's the way she is, and they explain it why, like because she couldn't get along with other kids. So it's like, yeah. Okay, are we back? Are we back? Okay. Anyways, after Roxy episode, episode 2. Yeah, in episode 2, to be honest, the thing is about episode 2 that is really low, make it like really maybe here, is that um again, half of the episode is just the episode 1, but seen from other perspective, which I get it. There is so much content in the light novel that the guys of like Mushoku Tensei really try, like the studio that making Mushoku Tensei, Studio Vine, they really try to like put a lot of information in every episode, but sometimes they can't. This is why like they use episode 2. But I feel like, yeah, the half episode is like I just already watched it. Why am I watching it again? And then the second half of it is like they just like free some guys and stuff from other people. I mean, free the beast, which you might think is a tangent, like a big tangent out of what happened in the whole series. But I feel like it has more meaning in the series, like meeting with finally like the beast people that you hear so much about in the in the first season. It's like a tiny bit more like interesting. But yeah, now episode 9. I feel like this is the one. No, is this one. This is one. I didn't. I'll talk about episode 8. I feel like episode 8. Um, yeah, I love it because we finally see his sister. That is a big thing. When Rudius meet people from his past, from his childhood, I feel like it's incredible. I love those kind of episodes, you know, like when you actually finally noticing that, oh, maybe Rudios is bigger, you know, like is still a child, but is like older than what he was when the show started, and you start to like see it in this world, you know. But again, aside from that, there isn't really much going on in that episode. I do feel like it's better than episode 2 now that I think about it. Now that I compared them both. But I don't think it's better than the Roxy episode. I feel like, yeah. So it's a good place, like what? 8. Wait. No, that's 10. 9, I mean, feel like. Yeah. It's like 9 in the rankings, I feel like. Yeah, that's good enough. Now, episode 9, I feel like this is the one. Yeah. Honestly speaking, this is one of the weakest one. Like, yeah, we know about the guy who, like, I don't remember what happened with him. With he's like a really strong like person. Like he was blessed with something when he was born, and the whole episode is kinda around him. There is a good scene at the end of like the maid kind of like hugging like Rudius and stuff, which is like a really like wholesome scene, except for the fact that she actually gives Roxy's panties to him, which is kind of weird. Not gonna lie. But aside from that, it's pretty good scene to be honest. But yeah, I feel like I might even think that it's the lowest one. Yeah, because now let's talk about episode 4. Even though it's again a really big tangent, and this episode nothing happened aside from like Aries like meeting the the only good thing about that episode is that we know about like Grish Lane and how she was like a really bad like beast uh, beast person. Like she was really bad with the sword. They said like she was annoying. Was and now when we see it, like older, she's like a god in the sword. Like she's so she has so much discipline and stuff. Like it's insane, bro. How much has changed. I feel like that's bumped it up this episode a little bit. And we have some touching moment with Eris and the Beast girls, which might come in like later season, but in this season nothing really happened out of that relation, you know, which is like, yeah, I get it. This guy in like, for example, this guy who created Mushoku Tensei really likes to like uh, put scenes, like put tangents on the story that he comes back to in later episodes, which is what I like though. That's why I feel like, yeah, it's not the least episode, the least best episode, but it is the second least best episode. You know? So yeah, that's about it. That's my tier list. I talk about everyone, and I feel like I'm pretty like I agree with the way I put every single episode. Now, if you don't know, it's episode 11 first, 10 second, 5th, 3rd, 12th, 4th, 3rd in the 5th place, episode 6 in the 6th. Oh, it's actually episode 6 in the 6th place. Like the middle ground, actually. Like the most middle ground. Episode 1 on the 7th. This is episode 7 in the 8th. Episode 9. Episode 2, 4, and episode, I feel like it's 10, I don't remember. Episode 9. So yeah, that's my tier list. What do you think? Like, did you agree with my tier list? Did you like what I talk about every episode? Probably leave a comment or something. Again, this was probably my favorite. This is single-handedly the best series I've seen in years. That's why I wanted to do a tier list. And I might do a tier list about the first season, you know. but I will have to like rewatch the first season because I don't really remember that much. In this season, did remember everything that happened mostly. But if I made a mistake, I didn't remember anything about some episodes, please let me know at the end of the day. I feel like this tier list is really good, so I'm gonna save it. And with that, is the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, everything, and probably see you in another video. I really enjoyed this one. See ya.